What's up, Ragin Nation? My name is Alex. You're watching the Ragin Ronin review, and it's been a while since I've done a video like this. Here I am doing a movie review, and it is for Skyfall. I do realize that Skyfall came out last month, but I just got back. I just got back 2 weekends ago from Asia. I went to Hong Kong and Japan. You guys already know that. And I actually watched Skyfall in IMAX while I was in Hong Kong, and I really wanted to watch this movie, so I had to watch it while I was in Hong Kong. And they had a beautiful IMAX theater at I Square. It's a shopping mall in Tsim Sha Tsui. What a great movie. This is my review right now, and I gotta say that this movie was absolutely excellent. It's kind of like the best of the Daniel Craig trilogy. I'm sure there's gonna be more Daniel Craig James Bond movies, but out of the three, Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and Skyfall, I have to say Skyfall is the best. And you know why? It's all because this movie, Skyfall, it really brings back the whole feel of what a James Bond movie should be like. It's everything. The character, the villain, the atmosphere, the gadgets, the cars, the action, the music. It's all those things combined, and it makes this movie so great. Because I found that Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, while they are prequel movies to the James Bond movies that we know before, they are a more modern age version of itself. However, Skyfall feels more in line with the other movies that we're so used to, such as the Pierce Brosnan James Bond movies or the Roger Moore James Bond movies. And that's what I like about them. When you watch Skyfall, you'll feel like, okay, this is a James Bond movie. And I keep on saying that about this movie, and it's all because of a number of things that I've mentioned, but mainly it's because of the whole feel of the movie. I think that Sam Mendes really got the direction down pat. He knew exactly what he wanted. Daniel Craig is cool as ever, and Javier Bardem really makes a great villain. And I love the homages to the original films. I love that Javier Bardem is more of a dominant villain compared to the other villains in Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace. He felt more like the smart villain. The villains who are known for more bigger goals, you know, whether it be world domination or taking over the entire stock market or just taking over the Silicon Valley, just big things, you know, like Javier Bardem, he just encompasses what makes up a James Bond villain. And that is a thing that I like about Skyfall. Another thing is just the whole nostalgic feel of the James Bond atmosphere. For example, they introduce certain characters that we know from the original films, and they bring them into this movie. It's something that we haven't seen in the previous two movies. Another thing is the action. Holy cow, that opening sequence was excellent. And then you have some smaller action sequences that are really well directed and just really entertaining to watch. And then of course at the end you have the final climactic battle. I can't think of a whole lot of bad things I can really say about this movie. Sam Mendes really got it down. He studied the previous James Bond films, and he wanted to take the elements from the previous films, and he wanted to please the loyal fans of James Bond films. And that is the number one thing that I love about Skyfall. It's all the little homages and just the whole feel of this movie. Because while Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace are James Bond films, it feels like they are just a new generation take on the James Bond franchise. However, Skyfall, it brings it back to the old school. And of course, Daniel Craig is as charming as ever. And you can see his character evolve from what he was like in Casino Royale all the way up to Skyfall. It's evolved into the character that we know of, let's say for example, in the Roger Moore James Bond film. So we see that evolution, and it's great to see the character develop. And as always, the Daniel Craig James Bond films have always been very consistent in terms of the action. The action is always up on this really higher standard of entertaining us, and they kept that really consistent, but as the films progress, they keep it a little more exciting than the other. So that's why I have to say that because of that, Skyfall makes it the #1 film of that Daniel Craig James Bond trilogy. Now, the only thing that I gotta say that prevents Skyfall from being a perfect movie is really the end climactic battle scene. I almost think it was a little bit anticlimactic, because usually I expect in the final battle scene, it's about James Bond saving the world. Well, let's just say that it's a little less grand as the previous James Bond films that we've seen, where James Bond needs to prevent the villain from total domination of the world. It's not like that at all. So the end battle sequence is a little bit underwhelming, just a little bit, but it's adequate. It's almost like what follows after the battle is more important than the battle itself. So they make up for it in that sense, but I was just thinking that because the final battle was not so climactic, it made the opening sequence feel like that was the grandest action sequence in the entire movie, which it was in my opinion. So because of that, it felt a little unbalanced in terms of the action. But other than that, I still think it was a great movie. I'm gonna have to give this movie a 9 out of 10. It's a near perfect movie, a must watch, and I absolutely enjoyed it. Best out of the 3 Daniel Craig James Bond movies. Skyfall is highly recommended. At the end of the day, out of all the Daniel Craig James Bond films, Skyfall felt more like the classic James Bond film that we know of. And there you have it. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation, and follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. My name is Alex, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. I was thoroughly entertained, and I was really absorbed into the story and the characters, and the visuals were absolutely beautiful. This is definitely a movie I can recommend to you guys. This